Prologue. At the edge of town, on the downhill side, beyond the abandoned railroad tracks to nowhere, past the point where the streetlights end, but before the world disappears beneath a twisted canopy of oak and black willow trees, there's a shitty little gas station open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's nothing really special about the place. If you were to go inside, you'd probably see the same boring components of any other perfectly normal gas station across the forgotten backroads of God's country. Shelves packed with off-brand chips, cookies, potted meats, and pickled curiosities. Walls decorated with beer advertisements, and windows filled with broken neon signs. A notice board covered in dozens of missing persons posters. A pot of coffee brewing in the corner where that bloodstain keeps reappearing no matter how many times we clean it up. The steady mechanical hum of a frozen drink machine that hasn't been serviced since the Reagan administration. Random pockets of icy cold air that seem to move around their own accord. And of course, that family of mutated raccoons living in the crawl space behind the grease trap. Well, we think they're mutated anyway. At the very least, they're inbred to the point of genetic deformity. The alpha, a muscular, 3-foot-tall son of a bitch named Rocco, has been caught multiple times chewing on customer tires. So far, he's been run over on at least 3 different occasions, yet he keeps coming back, stronger and dumber than ever. When it comes to upkeep, the gas station aims for good enough, usually misses. A faded wet floor sign sits atop a large crack in the foundation where layers of sticky spill-off have formed a miniature tar pit, preserving countless insect corpses as well as the occasional small rodent. One of the doors on the cold drink case is held together with nothing but duct tape and prayers, and the smoke detector may or may not be an old frisbee. Year after year, the health inspector, through some divine intervention, pure laziness, or simply good old-fashioned bribery, has signed off on the business kindly turning a blind eye to the good enough fixes and a blind nose to that overwhelming aroma that hangs out over the gas station. That lingering smell, a sweet combination of honeysuckle, ammonia, and vomit, has never been positively identified. The prevalent theory is that it's coming from underground, wafting up through the thin fissures in the concrete that grow and spread with each year of architectural settling. It's strongest right after a rain, and tear-inducing if you get too close to the storm drains, or even Rocco and his clan refuse to tread. Were you to answer nature's call during your visit to the gas station, you might see the bathroom cowboy. He's sort of an urban legend around here, only ever appearing when you're alone and unsuspecting. Some people say that he wears a long leather duster jacket, bandana, jeans, chaps, and boots with spurs. Some say he wears nothing but a black Stetson cattleman, checkered boxers, and an ornate tribal tattoos. Some have witnessed him handing out balloon animals or playing the harmonica. Some claim that he sings to them with the voice of a southern angel while they're busy doing their business. Should you be lucky enough to see the cowboy who haunts the bathroom? Don't worry. If he's real, he's harmless, and quite polite to boot. Customers have reported a spiritual high after meeting him, and old Bob Hoover credits the encounter with curing his gout. Honestly, the cowboy doesn't seem so bad, especially compared to some of the other things you might encounter. If you do go inside, there's a great chance you won't see the cowboy, or the raccoons, or anything that might register as out of the ordinary. But you'll probably see me. After all, I'm the only full-time employee, which means that I'm on the clock more often than not. Most of the time, you can find me sitting behind the counter by the cash register. You may catch me reading a book, because, for some reason, the internet doesn't work way out here, and cell phone service is dicey on good days and non-existent on most. If you need to make a call, you can leave and go up the hill back towards town. Definitely do not continue any further downhill where the road snakes into the hungry mouth of a wild, sweeping forest. Trust me, you don't want to know all the reasons that's not a good idea. Alternatively, you can pay me 25 cents a minute and use the store landline. That sacred arrangement was cooked up by the owners years ago, and yes, I have to actually enforce it because, yes, they do check the phone records. Sorry. We get at least one new person every month wandering back into town from the woods, normally barefoot, sometimes claiming they've escaped aliens or monsters or government conspirators, or the like. And they have no money, but need to make a call, and could I please let them use our store phone before they find them again? But rules are rules. And I'm not inclined to lose my job just because you didn't escape captivity with a little spare change in your pocket. If you're desperate, you can attempt to approach one of our regulars. but I wouldn't recommend it. Southern hospitality rarely extends to our usual clientele, and an outsider striking a conversation with one of the locals may end up being more trouble than it's worth. For instance, there's Clive Cornwall, a man who's fond of the bottle and always takes the case discount on the whiskey. All he ever wants to talk about is the time that he met the devil down in the local watering hole. He claims that he insulted the fallen angel's rhinestone jacket, and now he's cursed to stay perpetually drunk or face the demons determined to drag him to hell. There's bitter old Mrs. Mirez, who will happily gab for hours about her 4 missing children and how they were abducted one stormy night from right under her nose. Just don't ask her for any proof. The truth is, nobody around here remembers her ever having any kids in the first place. Least of all, Mr. Mirez. And let's not forget Farmer Brown, for his famously short temper, that he'd lose at even the slightest provocation. Last time that he caused a scene, it was over the new brand of bulk feed we ordered for him. He insisted something must have been wrong with our product because, as he put it, all of his animals suddenly had human faces. Unfortunately, you won't be able to ask him for any details. Not too long after the incident, the sheriff found what was left of his body down at the farmhouse, still clutching a loaded shotgun, with all the doors dead-bolted from the inside. As far as I know, they still haven't figured that one out. I guess the point I'm trying to make is this. Weird things happen at the shitty gas station at the edge of town. Tales from the Gas Station, blog entry number 1, October 4th.